Hello, fellow Darksiders. Today we are doing another SFM creepypasta reaction. I will be reacting, of course, to other things in the future. I've just found a niche in SFM creepypastas for now. And today we're watching a video made by Plant called Paid Me to Investigate a Strange Town. So that's what we're going to be reacting towards today. So if you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and check out the original video, which I will be leaving in the description for you all. Alright, with that out of the way, get a cup of joe, some food, and sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Let's begin.
What you could call a sort of... I guess I'm what you could call a sort of freelance investigative journalist.
Nice.
Basically, what my job is, I go around investigating various locations and people for businesses.
Oh, okay.
I research, travel, record my findings, then send them off to whoever is employing me at the time.
Makes
I don't
sense.
work for one specific news outlet, so that frees me up to accept multiple jobs from almost everywhere.
Oh, wow. So you're doing
a lot of the time, certain companies will prefer a freelancer over, say, someone on company time, either due to bias or risk. They often want someone they could wash their hands of if something went wrong.
So you're
Personally, I didn't mind that reason. One, because I'm very good at my job. And two, I get to set my price range.
That's true.
Over the years, I've investigated numerous people in places. From your average unfaithful husband to shady politicians and even greedy businessmen. I've traveled across the United States more times than I can count.
Well, Blue Scout is apparently a
Some people have paid me to locate lesser-known vacation spots even. There aren't many, but there are some that are still pretty secret to the world.
To do that for you?
Travel medias have sent me to various cities and states to give them a fresh take on the civilization there. The food, the people, the hotels, the sights, you name it.
You could become a travel blogger.
Most companies find me by word of mouth and contact me through various means. Email, phone, letter, bat signal. Once contacted, I review the job and then send them my terms, and they either reply or they don't.
Fair enough, fair enough.
A few weeks ago, I was sent a small package in the mail. It's not unusual for a company to contact me this way, so I grabbed the rather thick envelope and brought it inside. As I sat there watching the news and sipping my morning coffee, I gingerly opened the package and peered inside.
Ginger?
Money.
You're not a ginger.
A lot of money. I was shocked by the amount, as I had never been given this much before, and certainly not up front.
Oh, wow.
A letter was placed inside and I quickly fished it out.
Yeah, you better
I read and reread the letter a few times to make sure I was fully understanding it properly.
Yeah, you better.
The gist of it was, this company wanted me to investigate a town.
Oh,
it gave me a detailed list of directions to get there. But what was odd was when I searched it on the internet, nothing came up. It was as if the town didn't exist. The letter went on to explain that something had happened in the town, and I was tasked with finding out what. It mentioned that regardless of my findings, that another payment of the exact same amount will be granted to me upon completion. I took some time to look up the company that sent the letter, and big surprise, they were just as non-existent as the town.
No hate to the animator or anything.
This was either some sort of scam or something worse. On one hand, I knew nothing about this place or these people, so it made me very nervous. But on the other, it was a lot of money.
Exactly.
The letter did say regardless of my findings, so I thought that I could just cheese the rules a bit. I could go to this town, drive around for a little while, leave, and collect payment. So that's precisely what I planned to do. I packed my bags, hopped in my car, and hit the open road.
Photos and stuff.
The town in question was quite far from where I lived, but the money negated the distance.
In which case, why
I drove from state to state until finally I entered the proper one.
For a week and then be like, all right,
as I drew nearer and nearer to my destination, I couldn't help but feel trepidation swell within me. I scanned the letter the closer I got just to make sure I hadn't missed any turnoffs.
No.
After about 3 more hours of driving, I found the road that would lead me to this town.
Blue Scout, I mean, your fellow investigator.
It was around midday as I turned onto the road, and the sky seemed to have been taken over by thick gray clouds as I drove.
I don't like that,
The overcast gave all the surroundings a sort of muted coloring. like the life had been drained from nearly everything.
Okay, that's
The
a bit
plants,
worrying.
the ground, the trees, the road, the signs.
What the hell?
Everything was dull.
It's like some Silent Hill ass
A
shit
few
going on
moments
here.
later,
Maybe we
I
should
was
just stop
passing
and
by
turn
the
around.
sign to the town.
I'm a Dark Lord.
Buildings
but I don't
started to
wanna get, like,
appear on the
murdered
horizon.
by Pyramid
A
Head or
gas
something.
station, a few outlying shops,
Game shop.
then the houses. A few at first,
That's not
then
good.
more becoming densely packed together as I neared the
not
center of the
Not
town.
the houses, more like the fact that they're just coated in
The first
fog.
thing I noticed as I drove through this town was that there were absolutely no inhabitants.
Okay, that tends to happen.
At least, none that I could see.
Shorts, you know,
Cars were parked along roads
like,
and in
the town is
driveways.
always empty of life.
The houses were all closed up with no lights on. None of the buildings looked to be boarded up, just empty.
Okay, well, just go explore.
I'm not sure if you've ever been in a ghost town before, but the mystery of it is enough to chill you to the bone. I pondered the letter I had received. Could my employer know the current state of the town? Was this the reason I was sent here? To discern the cause of it? I have investigated many things, but this was quickly expanding beyond my pay grade. I also began to wonder why it was I that was chosen. Surely this could have been investigated by more professional means.
On the surface, anyway.
Like the police or the government. It didn't really make sense to outsource a job like this. As I was lost in thought driving along,
that is a fair point,
I caught a glimpse of something out of the corner of my eye. I stopped the car and looked, but nothing was there. It just seemed to be a flash of movement, but it passed. I was almost at the center of the town, and I decided that once I hit that mark, I'd turn around and leave. Telling my client that I couldn't find anything.
Just leave right now.
Sure, it was cheap of me to do so, but my entire body was screaming for me to get out.
Yes, and your body is
just
correct.
As I pulled up to the central intersection, my worst fear came to fruition.
What? What's your worst fear?
My car's engine sputtered for a few feet, then died.
I would kill myself.
I gripped the wheel tightly, staring straight ahead, not wanting to acknowledge my incompetence. I removed the keys from the ignition and looked around. The sky had darkened significantly by this point. It gave my surroundings an almost black and white hue to them.
Dude, what kind of
I opened the car door and stepped out onto the street.
Oh, come on.
I pulled my phone from my pocket.
Oh, that's horseshit.
But for some reason it wouldn't turn on. It was as if it had been completely drained of its battery life.
Yeah, because you're in the middle of
hell. I took a few steps and leaned against my car, wondering if I should begin walking back the way I came.
You should just like hide in your car and
I felt a chill drape around my shoulders. My breath visibly left my shaking lips.
Why?
A voice in the back of my head screaming at me to not turn and look around. I just shifted my eyes downward and glared at the ground.
Why? What happened?
Shivering and sweating both at the same time.
Okay, that's a really
in
big
my
beat of
peripheral vision, I could see legs.
What the
There
hell?
were people all around me.
Oh, they just want to say hi.
But they weren't touching the ground.
Okay.
They were all hovering, suspended a few inches off the asphalt.
Like
the tips of their shoes gently grazing the ground below. My head snapped up and I saw them.
Why would you do that?
The town.
Okay.
All of the people that had vanished were now before me.
I thought, like, if you
they all
made eye
hovered
contact
with their heads lulled to the ground. All of them seemed to be facing various directions, and they all weren't moving.
Like the opposite of a weeping
just
angel
floating
situation.
there, stationary.
Like, you know,
I could feel the strain on my lids as my eyes would not shut.
Angels. You, like,
I was too frightened by the sight before me. They were all wearing normal
would be
clothing.
Like more of an Enderman from
Nothing on their person appeared to have been altered.
Yeah.
That is, aside from their faces.
Okay, well, what's
I had the only pair of eyes in town.
Oh boy.
Darkened holes of torn flesh rested right above the nose on all of them. Some had blood dripping down their cheeks, others didn't. I wasn't sure why.
Right
Through this sea of horror, I saw something shifting in the distance. My eyes began to focus on it, and between the people, I saw it.
Oh God.
It was standing near one of the townsfolk. It was holding them close to it, with two spindly hands. It was nearly as tall as the people floating around it. It had its back turned to me and was doing something to the person in front of it.
It was probably
The
ripping
eerie
out that guy's
silence
eyes.
was filled with the wet crunches of fractured bone and the gnawing of flesh. I felt my shaking hands lose grip of my car keys and they fell towards the asphalt.
You useless
The
piece
ringing
of
of the metal seemed to echo for miles. This snapped me out of my fixation, and I bent down to pick them up.
Good for you, man.
As I stood back up, all of the townspeople were now facing towards me. Standing between them was that thing. It was cloaked in shadow, and its face was grotesque.
Oh, that's kinda,
skin so tight it might as well have just been bone. It had piercing yellow eyes that cut through the muted colors around us. Oh my gosh. It was like chomping down on something with sharp, blackened teeth. I knew right away what it was eating, as the person who it was previously interacting with was looking at me with only one eye.
My eye is gone,
It twitched its head from left to right, like an insect, before coming towards me.
You really don't
It moved as if it had 100 legs, but I couldn't see any. It was just gliding in jagged directions.
I'm gonna get you.
I pulled open my car door.
Yeah, get the
got
fuck back
inside
in the car.
and locked everything.
Yeah.
I put my keys back into the ignition and turned them. No sound. I tried once more.
Yeah, try again.
Nothing. Man. I tried a third time.
Yeah,
and I heard a tapping on my glass.
Okay, do not.
I turned and was face to face with it.
Oh boy.
A long, barbed tongue stretched from its mouth and raked along my window.
What'd that tongue do, man?
It sounded like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah,
I screamed. I had never been more terrified in my entire life.
Alright.
I begged to as many gods as I knew about to please just let me leave this place.
Vishnu.
I tried the key one last time,
Allah,
and the engine roared
Yahweh,
to life. I put it in reverse and floored it. The wheels and axles screamed under the torque.
Michael Jackson.
I expected to plow through all the floating people around me, but as soon as I began to move, they disappeared.
Yeah, because they're ghosts.
I drove for days without stopping before making it home.
For days?
I sent a letter to the address that the company had given me, telling them down to the smallest detail what I had experienced.
Alright.
I wondered what they would do. If they'd simply reply or what.
They'd probably just never contact you again.
A few days ago, I received another letter in the mail. It was from the same company.
Alright, well.
Thanking me for my work. They enclosed the other half of my payment and told me to reply if I would like more work. I burned that letter shortly after reading it.
No, I mean...
I'm sure some of you have noticed that I've left out some details of this story. Such as the town's name and the state I found it in.
Oh,
that's because I never want anyone to seek that place out.
Oh, goddamn.
However, if you do happen to stumble across a town where all the inhabitants have seemingly gone missing, turn around and drive away before you become one of them.
Become one of the eyeless
As for
people.
me, well, I have enough money that I can take a break from my job for a while.
Yeah, maybe.
Hopefully long enough to stop seeing those awful yellow eyes in my dreams.
Ooh. Hey, how you doing, man? All right, thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.